Every day, countless investors stare at the same numbers, reports, headlines, charts, and yet miss the truths hiding just beneath the surface. They get stuck chasing obvious data, following the herd, parroting popular opinions, and then wonder why, despite all their effort, their portfolio barely moves, their gut feeling nags them, and opportunities slip through like shadows in the night. The truth is brutal. Most investors don't really see what's happening. They read the words, but they don't see the story underneath. They listen to the noise, but they miss the signal. They trust the surface, but never dive deeper. And that's where brilliance begins and fortune lives. Imagine the difference between hearing something and truly understanding it. The smartest investors don't just consume information. They dissect it with the precision of a surgeon, cutting through layers of spin, fear, and illusion. They don't buy into the easy narrative. They hunt for the cracks in the story, the subtle hints that expose the real game. Where others see calm, they sense storm. Where others hear comfort, they detect risk. They read between the lines, and that's where their edge, their power, and their freedom come from. It's frustrating, isn't it? Feeling like you're doing everything right and still getting nowhere. You're not alone in that struggle. The world's financial markets are layered with distractions designed to keep you confused, compliant, and caught in a loop of reaction and regret. It's a system built to reward the many, but serve the few. Mediocrity gets a pat on the back, while rarity gets crushed in the grind. There's a constant pressure to conform, to play by rules that cage your thinking and dull your instincts, and it's killing the very fire that could set you apart. But what if all this could change? What if the reason you feel stuck is not because you lack talent or resources, but because you haven't learned to see the invisible? Because you're trapped in a world where the obvious blinds you from the exceptional? The smartest investors don't just accept what's handed to them. They question every assumption, every narrative, every fact, spoon-fed by the market, the media, the so-called experts. They peel back the layers of belief, separate the signal from the noise, and discover an unseen architecture beneath the chaos. Start with the headline. It's rarely the whole story. When a company announces a surprise drop in earnings or a sudden spike in revenue, it's tempting to react immediately. But the truth is almost always buried in the details, the footnotes, the unusual expenses, the shifts in customer behavior that don't make the press release. The smartest read 10Ks and 10Qs not as a chore, but as a puzzle. They understand not just the numbers, but what they imply about leadership, strategy, and unseen risk. And they don't stop at the margins. They delve into industry shifts, regulatory whispers, geopolitical tremors that could tip the scales before the wider market even blinks. Then there's the narrative itself. Investors get hooked by stories, innovation, disruption, dominance, but the brightest minds analyze who tells those stories, why, and what's left unsaid. Every CEO has an agenda. Every PR campaign is crafted to paint a picture. Smart investors don't take stories at face value. They track inconsistencies, contradictions, and overuse buzzwords like synergy or game changer. If it sounds too good or too neat, alarm bells should start ringing. Real change? It's messy. It's complex. It takes time, and it exposes flaws. Those willing to accept discomfort and see deeper find opportunity hidden from the crowd. This kind of insight doesn't come naturally. It's cultivated, honed like any skill worth mastering. It requires relentless curiosity, skepticism, and a hunger that refuses to settle. It means unlearning what the system hammered into your mind, that markets are rational, that past performance guarantees future results, that comfort means security. The system wants you safe, compliant, predictable. It's built to cap your potential, because the rare, the radical, and the relentless are threats to its fragile balance. But the greatest investors are relentless by nature. They see patterns where others see chaos. They embrace complexity when others run from it. If there's a secret to reading between the lines, it's this. Always remember that what's on the page is just one version of reality. The world behind those statements is full of invisible players, conflicting incentives, and silent forces. For every official report, there's an ecosystem of human motives: fear, greed, ambition, desperation. The smartest don't get caught in the numbers alone. They read the behavior of stakeholders, track subtle shifts in tone, observe the moves of competitors and regulators, and spot the early signs of change long before the market notices. They listen to the silence between earnings calls. They watch the reactions that don't make headlines, and more than anything, they connect the dots others miss. Investing today isn't about finding one good stock or one hot sector. It's about building a network of insights so dense, so rich, that your understanding of the market's movements feels almost like a sixth sense. That's not luck. That's disciplined work. It's prioritizing quality over quantity, selective alignment over desperate inclusion. It's surrounding yourself with the few who burn as fiercely as you do and refusing to waste energy on noise, distractions, or fleeting trends. This is how rare individuals rise, by creating their own ecosystem, their own inner circle of insight and action, where true power breathes. But maybe the most powerful lesson is this: liberation from market illusions doesn't just come from strategies or reports. It comes from mindset, from the refusal to accept the easy story, from questioning everything, from relentlessly transforming how you see and what you believe. The market wants you tired, confused, and reactive. You must be patient. Patient like a hunter who knows the prize is not in constant action, but in waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect signal, the moment everyone else has missed. Eternity favors the long game. This patience is revolutionary in a world addicted to instant wins and quick fixes. The smartest investors don't just find opportunities, they create them by breaking the shackles of convention, by unshackling their thinking from crowds and comfort. They know the world's definitions of success are typically crafted by those too afraid to step outside the box. But real success belongs to the daring, the ones willing to burn, bend, and become something new. To do that, they must first unlearn what was drilled into them: that systems will serve them, that markets are fair, or that tomorrow will look like today. No longer bound by limiting beliefs or false promises, they embrace their sovereignty. Their will becomes their weapon because they choose what to believe and where to act. They look for risk where others see safety, for potential where others see losses, for truth where others see noise. This rebellious act alone, choosing to think free, to see free, is the starting point of real power. It's how they escape the trap of slavish obedience to popular opinion and step into a world where they make the rules, or better yet, rewrite them. Here's the reality: the world doesn't make space for the exceptional, the radical, or the rare. It's a world built to process, to optimize, to sedate brilliance into mediocrity. The system does not want the rare to connect. It wants isolation, control, complacency. But those who dare to break free, those who seek connection with others who burn as fiercely, form something new. A network not built on sameness, but on contrast, not conformity, but fierce individuality. Together in this rare alignment, they amplify their impact exponentially. Those who read between the lines know this is bigger than any stock, bond, or deal. It's about releasing the raw, wild potential inside, about taking the quiet tension in your chest, that voice saying you were born for more, and turning it into unstoppable force. They refuse to live a borrowed life, handed down by rules they never made. Instead, they build their own reality, one decoded layer at a time, one insight at a time, one relentless question at a time. So here's the call: don't just watch the market, don't just digest information, don't settle for surface-level understanding. Own your will. Question everything. Be so patient it makes others impatient. Be so critical it sharpens your vision. Connect with those who burn like you do. Build your own space where your unique fire is not just tolerated, but amplified. The power you seek isn't hidden. It's waiting for you to claim it by seeing what others refuse to see. This is the path the smartest investors walk every single day. They don't follow the noise, they create the music. They don't chase safety, they build freedom. They don't wait for the world to change, they become the change. And every second they hold nothing back, every moment they push deeper. They step closer not only to financial mastery, but to a kind of freedom so profound it shakes the very foundations of the system. Because to read between the lines is to rewrite the rules, and the future belongs to those with the courage to read what's never been written out loud.